Hey, it's Ollie. Welcome back to me in my living room. I did a video on this channel a few years ago, probably like 4 years ago at this point, where I was going through my instant film collection and digitizing things. I'm doing something similar today, which is going through and digitizing my keepsake box. I have a lot of like physical keepsakes and photos and things that are very sentimental to me. This is the one that I have right now. It's literally just a box full of like stuff that I hold on to for one reason or another. Cards and notes from people, pamphlets from like events that I went to. And I want to go through and digitize these for two reasons. One is that recently I'm in a big trying to really minimize clutter in my house. Our apartment is so small, as I'm sure you can see in the videos that I film here, and so whenever we have excess things that we don't use, you can very much feel it, and it starts to get crowded and heavy. And I just have days where I wake up and I'm like, I need to figure out what of this stuff I can get rid of, get out of my house. So I've been getting rid of some of my collection of books and narrowing down the things that are in my closet. And yeah, in the process of getting a bunch of stuff out yesterday to try to get things ready to sell or give away, I found this. This is a video idea that I've had for a while, but when I actually found this in my closet, I was like, it just felt timely. I had an impulse to do it yesterday, and I was like, I need to wait to film. But one of the reasons that I want to go through and digitize these also is because I do a lot of mixed media and digital collage, and I think that these will be really nice elements to have for that work as well. Last time that I did this, I had a nifty little digital scanner, so I could just put the pictures face down and scan them in to the computer. I do not have that anymore, sadly, so I think today what I'm gonna have to do is just take pictures of things, then remove the background to make them transparent background elements that I can layer over things if I want to. I'm obviously not gonna have time to talk about every single thing in here, but I thought it would be fun to kind of show and tell and talk about some of the cool, sentimental little things in here. So yeah, let's get into that. I'm gonna start going through things. It is a few days later. The actual digitizing everything process ended up taking a really long time. I had so many things in my little keepsake box that I had not thought about, not seen in years. So not only was I going through everything, having to take it out and figure out what to do with it, but I was also wanting to read through all the letters that I had in there. So it was a lot of reminiscing and tedious sorting. The way that I started out in the process was by deciding which things I wanted to hold on to and which things I didn't. And then for the things that I did want to hold on to, it was which of these things are really cute and aesthetic and would be good for scrapbooking and collage, and then which things am I holding on to for purely sentimental reasons. This is my bag full of things that I decided not to keep for one reason or another. Some of them I genuinely didn't even remember what they were from anymore. Some things just were in bad shape or from things that I'm not necessarily I don't feel as nostalgic or care to hold on to as much as I did when I decided to keep them. So there were a lot of things to let go of for sure. So that was my first round of decluttering things, and then after that I broke it down even more by splitting everything up into kind of like categories of things. So I had things I held on to from high school, and then things from New York or from theater. So I went through those all one by one and photographed them, and now I have them in 2 gigantic folders on my laptop, which I'll go through a little bit on here. I think it does like look nuts, the amount of things. There's a lot of them. Yeah, I'm not gonna take the time to really talk through the stuff in the purely sentimental folder, because a lot of it is kind of personal and not that cute and held on to for just for me to preserve and be able to look back through. I had a lot of stuff from when I was doing theater and, I don't know, scripts and flyers, and I have all this stuff which was from my first trip to New York. I kept a lot of stuff from that the first time I came to New York when I was 16, and so that was its own pile when I was sorting through things. Oh my god, this one was actually kind of nuts. I found an envelope, and this one I really didn't remember doing. I found an envelope of letters that I wrote to myself, like I wrote them when I was 16 or 15 for me to open in the year 2023. It's 2026 when I opened them, but yeah, for an older version of myself, and that was really weird because I knew I had done something very similar when I was 9. Those ones I'm not even gonna really go through or anything because I was very religious as a 9-year-old, and so most of the things I had to say to myself were like, you better not be drinking wine or dyeing your hair or piercing your ears. But the ones from teenage Ollie were very sweet, yeah, and nice to read through. So that's everything from the sentimental pile that I think is really even worth showing you or talking about. But I will go ahead to the stuff that I kept specifically because I think it will be cute to collage with. So yeah, I'll go through those. These I'm very happy that I have and are well preserved. I don't know why I kept these at the time. It's from Yogurt and Love, which used to be like one of my friends and I's favorite spots when I was a teenager. It's just like a little frozen yogurt shop, and it's changed titles a few times since then, which is sad, so it doesn't really exist like in the way that I remember it as. This is also where I did my first like live music show with my friend Lydia. This is just a tag from a very popular thrift store in Brooklyn. I held on to this one though because this is from when I went shopping there on my trip to New York in 2021, right before I decided to move here. So that was a very impactful trip, so I held on to a few things from there. I feel like this one looks really cool for collaging. This is like the chopstick little packet that the disposable ones come in from like my favorite sushi place from when I was living in Indy. I'm pretty sure I held on to this one the last time I went there before moving here when I was doing kind of my nostalgia goodbye trip and just like going to all my favorite spots in the Midwest before not being able to go there anymore. The little 17 from my class of 2017 graduation cap. This is the tag from my almost wedding dress. I have 2 Metro cards in this collection, which I feel very cool now that the Metro cards are like, you can't get them anymore, which I've been seeing a lot about like on the broader internet, not even just like people in the city. So I have this one, which I'm gonna assume is like the first one that I got when I came here. And then I also have one that Trevor went way out of his way to get me when Glossier was doing their MTA collab. They're like, if you're not in the city, there will be every once in a while like well, at least there used to be. I don't know if they'll be able to do it with OmniCard anymore. But it used to be that they would do like random drops with like certain people where it'd be like, oh, if you hurry up and go to this train station at this time, you'll be able to get this special limited edition version of a Metro card that has like this picture on it or whatever. And when Glossier did one, I was like, I I need one of those. And Trevor, like without telling me, went to like 3 different train stations in the city to get me one of those. So that is like, for both of those reasons, that card is a treasure of mine. This is a origami heart that my brother folded for me while we were sitting in a church service. This is one of the fortune cookie tags that I held on to. It was ancient sites beckon you to hit the road soon. And I'm pretty sure the reason I held on to that was because it was like right before I was about to move here, and I was like, how did they know? These are all from American Museum of Natural History. I think I had 3 of these in my keepsake box on accident. One from like when I came here on a trip, and then one from more recently, and then also one in German. I think this is the museum that I've been to the most times, which if you missed it, I did make a video on here about the dinosaur exhibit there. That's the reason I love it. I'm like a huge dinosaur nerd. And so I actually like just this year became a member of the Natural History Museum, which I'm very excited about because now I can go to all the ticketed exhibits without having to pay them, which I originally decided to do because they just added a new like limited exhibit about the extinction event for the dinosaurs, and I was like, I gotta get in there because that is like one of my favorite parts of like the fossil record, is that basically you can tell everything that happened before and after the extinction event based on this layer of sediment where there is like extraterrestrial rock material from the asteroid that hit and went all over the surface. And they had like a piece of rock that like had that layer showing in the middle, and I was like, oh my god. I have lots of these pamphlets from all my multiple times going to the museum. Ugh, this one is so sweet. This is like the heart from my longest time Build-A-Bear that I've had since I was like, I want to say maybe 5 or 6. This is my like New York era stuff, I believe so. Yeah, I have some little sweet notes that I left for Trevor and vice versa. So a lot of these I'm just going to hold on to as is and just have them saved on my hard drive so that if anything ever happens to my memento box, then at least I'll know that I have another copy somewhere. But some of these I still need to go through and remove the backgrounds from them so that I can make them into little elements that are easy for me to access and use to put in my collage mixed media work. So I'll go ahead and show you how I do that. I do all of my collaging, like digital collaging, on Canva. I first had to get it years and years ago for a job that I was doing, and honestly I've just never switched off of it. And honestly, like, I really tried to get rid of and replace it a while ago because they're pushing a lot of their like AI features, which I know like every creative software is trying to act like they're an AI app now, so maybe it's just inescapable. The subscription price is also like a little bit high for what it is in my opinion, and it's like really not worth using Canva at all if you don't have the premium version of it. I do pay for Premiere Pro, but I don't pay for the entire Adobe suite, and so I don't have access to Photoshop anymore. If you have a recommendation for a good replacement for Canva for this type of work, I'd take it, but that's what I'm using for now. So it is pretty straightforward. I'm not really going to treat this like a tutorial, like I need to explain how to do it, but I will just kind of like show like what it looks like. I have like my little Metro card picture, and I took all of these on this bright pink background to make it easier to remove them, because sometimes like this software gets confused on what is or is not what you want it to get rid of. So I'm just like literally sizing it to the square and then removing my background, and then now that is a thing that I can use. Let me go ahead and do it with my Glossier one too. For now, I'm just gonna go through and do the ones from my like New York era pile so that I can make like a little NYC themed kind of collage with this as the maybe end result of the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through and just do all of my New York time pieces. enjoying doing this kind of work lately. I'm working on doing some more mixed media or like experimental photography stuff. Like a lot of the work that I've been doing professionally the past year has been in fashion, and so it's a very kind of clean, like has a specific look to it. And I love a lot of the pictures that I've taken, but I feel like I want to do things that are a bit more creative almost. And so like getting to mess with this kind of stuff I find a lot more interesting and fulfilling. So now that I have all those set up, I'm just gonna put NYC elements and then save all these to transparent background. And then these are perfectly laid out to be a little background. Let me see if I have a picture that I could add them over the top of. Actually, I do. Okay, I'm gonna take this picture of this mural in the city maybe and try to make it a cute background. Alright, let me try to start adding these in then so I can show you what that looks like. So now hopefully these are just little things that I can put all over here. I did forget that I definitely need to brighten a lot of these. This is quickly becoming chaotic. This is gonna be a very cluttered, messy collage, but I have a lot of stuff I want to fit in here. Maybe make another version of this where I'm just gonna shrink everything down a little bit. I can group these all together too to make them easier to move. Call that a quick little collage. Like I have other things I'm gonna want to do with this obviously, but just kind of like to show you like vaguely my intention for what this could be cool to use them for. So here's a little memento of some of my time in New York with some of the things that I took and digitized from my little memento box. Yeah, I think this was a good project to declutter and be intentional with what I want to hold on to versus what it's time to let go of, and then also just to kind of have some peace of mind about having a digital version of a lot of these really sentimental things that I've been holding on to in a box in my closet for years and years. I'm hoping that this will be a nice way for me to add little creative personal touches to a lot of the visual art that I'm working on. And I hope maybe it inspired you to do something similar. I would always love to see any art that you're working on. If you want to connect with me on any of my creative outlet platforms, I always link them below. Thank you as always for hanging out with me and for caring about the things that I make. I will see you soon. Bye!